What if you could grow your business and be fully present with your family without feeling like you had to choose one over the other? Welcome back to a special live edition of Do Business, Do Life. I'm Brad Johnson, and we're coming to you straight from our Founders Retreat in Maui for this one. Today I'm joined by two good friends, CrossFit Games world champion and entrepreneur Jason Khalipa, and one of the top voices in behavioral finance, Dr. Daniel Crosby. And what I love about them both, they don't just fly in, give a keynote, and disappear. They bring their families. They lean all the way in, and they live out the exact values we talk about inside of the Triad community every day. And in this episode, Jason shares about the guilt he used to feel when travel pulled him away, how he's learned to say no and be more intentional. And Daniel talks about how DBDL has created a space where family and business actually fuel each other instead of competing. And this conversation isn't about theory. It's about what it really looks like to do business and do life from two guys who live it every day. Can't wait to dive into this one. Let's go.
All right. Well, gentlemen, here we are, Maui, DBDL Founders Retreat, and just wanted to grab some time. I think one of the things that I really appreciate about both of you that's really important to our community is just kind of practicing what we preach and not just getting, hey, here's a random person that can give a great keynote and then they disappear into the green room, never to be seen again. And both of you have fully embraced, this is multiple times you've been to a Triad experience. You're here with your families. So I'd just love to get your unfiltered take on how's this feel? What's DBDL like? What's your version of that? And maybe we start with Jason. How's it been so far?
Yeah, I mean, obviously I love what Triad's doing. So DBDL to me, and I shared this earlier, but like DBDL is like, that's the mission. Like that's the vision. That's what we should all be striving for, is to be able to do business and do life. Cause like, I know for me, I'm sure for both of you guys too, like I want to be successful in business. Like I want to be able to provide for my family. I want to be able to be reaching my, like achieving goals that I set out for myself in business. Cause like I get value from that. Like I get purpose out of that, because I also believe that our work drives value for other people. So for example, I'm in the fitness space. The better our business does, the more people we're impacting. That's great for everybody, right? But at the same time, that's not at the expense of the family. Like the family still has to be a huge priority. And so I think this balance of DBDL is so beautiful because it allows me to achieve my goals and have a mindset of like making an impact on the business side, while simultaneously also being about doing life and not forgetting that the most important thing is right in front of me, and that the seasons of life and our kids grow really fast. So I think you guys do a really good job of constantly reminding your founders throughout the year of the importance of doing business and doing life. And I think events like this just kind of are a great example of an anchor that someone can use to make sure they stay on track and not get distracted either way.
I appreciate that. Daniel, thoughts?
Yeah, I think forever doing business or doing life has been presented as this false dichotomy, this false choice, and we had to have one at the expense of the other. And I think this event shows really viscerally that you can have both simultaneously. And in fact, I find myself more locked in because my mind's not on who's at home and what soccer game I'm missing and what dinner I'm missing. It's let me really focus, let me really go deep here on the business side when it's business time, knowing that I'll see my kids and my wife tonight and knowing that we can have that great time. It's just absolutely incredible. And I think it's a very modern approach to see that both can help each other instead of sort of forcing people into this false choice.
We had one of our members that you just reminded me of something that was shared. It was probably a year or two back. And he said, for us adults, he said, having the kids here keeps us on better behavior.
Oh, yeah.
And I thought that was an interesting take. So both of you have been to a lot of experiences all around the world, all types of different groups you've spoken to. What do you think infusing family into this does for us?
Well, I'll just speak real quick on this. Like my kids were super excited that I got asked to come back here, because it's something that you guys do a really good job of like making them feel special too. Like at no other point, especially for what I do for a living, like we're not in the corporate world. Like we own and operate gyms and we're in the fitness space. So like they're not surrounded by like gifts and stuff like that way. So when they come here and they're able to go like spend some money in like your gift center. Wow. They're able to be treated to certain like dinners and stuff. It's like, wow, this is really cool because you guys make it a really special experience for them. So like, I think what you guys do is super unique for the kids because I can't think of another company or whatever that does that. Like you make them feel even more special than perhaps the adults do, which makes my job a lot easier to come out here because they're really looking forward to it.
Yeah, I love that.
I can't even remember what your original question was. That was just fresh in my mind, like how excited my kids are to come here.
Well, I think if we let ourselves, I mean, obviously we're the parents, so we're constantly thinking like, here's what we need to do on this trip. And the dad talks before you get out here, but we can sure get energy from our children too. So if they're excited about it and you're like revisiting the joy of childhood through them, that's a beautiful thing, man.
For sure.
So I love that.
So it's interesting. I was asking my kids on the way here what they were most excited about. And there's endless things to be excited about. There's snorkeling and gifts and great food. But the thing that they were the most excited about was making new friends and making new relationships. And I fully expect some group chats to be coming out of this week in Maui. My kids are having an incredible time. And my son turned to me yesterday during that same little shopping spree and he goes, "This can't be real."
Yeah.
This can't be real. And it's just, if someone does something kind for your kid, there's a special place in your heart for someone who is kind to your children and who sees your children, who cares about your children. That I think is the DBDL difference. And it's really a joy to watch.
We've obviously spent a lot of time in finance, Jason. Some you've spoken to, I'm sure, other groups in finance besides us. But, one of the things when you have to be away from family and you miss a ball game, unfortunately, you miss a dinner, you miss one of those special moments, like you carry that guilt. And I've, as a dad, had that tug of war before where you're providing, you're making a living, but you're missing the stuff you can't buy back. And as Triad came together, we're like, let's not do that. Now, granted, there's still things that pop up, but what if we created an intentional environment to where you could have the yes and instead of the either or? And so for you guys, have you dealt with that? I mean, you're both very successful in business. I know you're also both very intentional husbands and fathers. Can you think back to a trip where you're like, that kind of guilt inside of you, like as a dad or as a husband that you had to deal with?
It used to happen to me all the time. It's gotten better because I've learned to say no a little bit more. But like I was saying earlier today, I used to travel to Asia once a month. And those are, like, dude, you're going to miss stuff. Like I went to Asia for a lunch one time and turned around. And I still missed 2 days with the family,
You flew out for a lunch.
I flew out for a lunch.
That's a wild lunch right there.
I mean, we got the deal. So it was weird. But I mean, we were already rocking and rolling. We had to take care of something. I had to go take care of it. But that's an example. Like there was a lot of guilt. And there's guilt on both sides too. Cause like then I started feeling like, I'm not fully enjoying these experiences when I travel to Asia because it's purely like just get the hell, get home. But then at the same time, it's like, well, should I have combined it? Should I have brought them? That's where I think nowadays I'm learning to say no more often and then also incorporate them. So like events like this are perfect, because you can incorporate them into the things you're doing.
Yeah. That's the goal.
Yeah.
Yeah, bring the whole crew.
I'm glad the Asia trips are gone.
Well, I'll tell you one of the early moments in Triad where I knew we were doing something right. You came to Lake Tahoe 2 summers ago.
Oh man, this place. Have you been to the Ritz in Lake Tahoe?
I have not.
Dude, it is so nice.
Yeah,
it is so nice.
Well, so you had to fly out for the ESPN game or for the CrossFit Games on ESPN.
Yeah.
So I think you were only there for the very first day. And I remember you telling me my family's kind of upset at me that we have to leave. And I was like, okay, cool. We're doing something right if the family's telling you they don't want to go.
Yeah.
So that's the goal, is to stay on that track.
For sure.
That tension you're talking about is the defining struggle of my professional life. I mean, I don't know how else to say it. Like that is the defining struggle of my professional life, is this tension between the travel demands of my career and this desire I have to put first things first, to have my family be the biggest rock in my life. And I like that you take that tension off the table and you just say, you can have both. And I mean, I have for lack of a better word, smuggled my children into other conferences with, I mean, I'll just show up with a kid and, just put my kid in the front row and say, hey, watch dad rock for an hour and I'll come back and then we'll go do something. But I've gotten mixed responses to smuggling a kid into an event. It's not always great. And it's, you feel like you have to apologize or that they're in the way. It's wonderful to come to a place where that tension doesn't exist, where kids are centered, where kids are taken care of. And again, the adults can be fully present. You don't have half a mind back home. You can be fully present. The AMRAP mentality, you can be all in on the thing you're doing in that moment, whether it's time with family or really learning incredible stuff about how to be a better business person.
Mm. Yeah, one of the things is we thought about how to design experiences. In finance, it's typically all about us, right? Typically the dudes, from a percentage standpoint. Now, the ladies are coming up as they should, but it's mostly been a very male-dominated industry. And if you look at all of the experiences I've been to over, I guess, close to 20 years now, there was no intention around the significant other. There was no intention around the kids. And when you start to look through their lens versus our own, it's wild the different things you can create. Kids camp, fun experiences for them, different gifts that are specific to kids versus adults. And like the intention was there, but each one of these that we do, I'm continuing like, oh, okay, we got to level this up or we got to level that up. And so it actually makes it a lot more fun when you're designing a community with different viewpoints. It's not just all about us. It's like love on the spouses and that's going to light you up probably more than the guy that's been gifted everything probably in your career, So how does that hit when your spouse or kids are coming up to you and like, Dad, check this out, or your wife's like, hey, check out this cool intentional thing they did for me?
Well, I mean, they just haven't it doesn't happen very often, right? Like we always get it, you're right. It's always through the lens of like the person they're initially trying to please. I think with DBDL, it's like you're trying to make the experience great for everybody. And frankly, I mean, probably, I don't want to say that the founder is last. That's not the way to look at it, but like, it's kind of like you lead with the kids and the spouse and then the founder comes in, right? Versus normally it's the opposite way, right? And I think that I think it does a lot. I mean, I know for me, it's like there's nothing else we go to that my family feels so excited about. And I think that's just a testament to the way you guys structure things because you make them feel seen and special versus just like joining. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, good. We're going to stay on that path.
Yeah.
So my first Triad experience was during our spring break.
Oh.
And we had tentative plans to go to the beach. And so I had to come to my family and say, hey guys, instead of going to the beach, I would like for us to go to a finance conference. And that went over about as well as you'd expect initially. And, no less a finance conference in our hometown of Atlanta, like 20 minutes from my house. Kids were not excited about it going in. Coming out, Dad, that was the best ever. That was the greatest ever. We made the right call. We made the right choice. And so when this opportunity came up, it is now my kid's first week of school, and we pulled them from the first week of school to attend DBDL retreat. Sorry, school, but yeah, to have seen how far they've come and how excited they are, and that it's no big deal to miss spring break or it's no big deal to miss the first week of school and reuniting with their friends because that's how special this experience is and the relationships they've formed here.
Well, I don't take that for granted, and that's cool to hear, and also. It was one of the coolest things that I got to deal with where we connected with Will Guidera, who was at the same experience that you guys were at. And he's just sitting there chilling with your kids. We're snagging Taco Bell, which that reignited a Taco Bell addiction for you. So congratulations.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. We've eaten Taco Bell every week since we met Will Guidera. Thanks for nothing, Will.
Yeah. You meet a guy that formerly ran a 3-star Michelin restaurant and you come out with a Taco Bell addiction. You didn't see that one coming.
Yeah, didn't see that coming.
Well, guys, we are in Maui. We're here with our families. So thank you for, number one, being here and playing all out. Like, I love the fact you brought your crews. And I know that's an investment of a lot and a lot of trust as well. So appreciate you both being here. And the business sessions are officially over, so it is time to do life. So let's go do it. I think a luau is in our future.
Sounds good.
Any parting thoughts, or should we call it a day?
Just do business, do life. I love it. I think the slogan, it's not just, I mean, just to kind of like caveat for anybody who doesn't know you, like this isn't just like some slogan you came up with. Like it's what you embody. It's to your core, and it's to Triad's core. And I think that's really important because people can see through it if it's just a slogan. And for you guys, it's a core value. I think that's the biggest difference that I see. So thanks for being you.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
You know, when it's just a slogan, it's actually cancerous. It's actually worse. You know, Enron famously had their values etched in stone so that when you drove up, but when you do that and you're not living up to those values, all you're doing is creating a physical reminder of the distance between you and your aspirations. I was a little bit cynical about Triad. I knew you were well branded, but when I came here to this place and I saw it firsthand, a couple of things that made me know this was different. I said this morning in my talk, usually when people come up to me after I've given a presentation, they want my knowledge, and that's fine. That's business, that's transactional. I know stuff about behavioral finance. They want that knowledge. Let's talk. Awesome. There was that, of course, when I spoke at Scale Summit, but there was also people wanting to know my story and know my kids and know my wife. And that's a qualitatively different thing. And so it really does feel different here. The other sort of interesting thing, usually when I leave a speech, usually when I give a talk, I walk off the stage and my LinkedIn is blown up. Like, you know, a bunch of people in the crowd have sent me a link.
Want to connect.
Yeah, I want to connect on LinkedIn. Yeah. When I got off the stage at Triad, my Instagram was blown up. And I was like, that's a fascinating little data point. These people want to know my life, not just whatever, you know, corporate slop I'm putting out there that day, and just not the business side of me.
I love that.
Yeah.
Well, it's a testament to our community, and that, like, just like you guys trusted us, so did our members. And so it's humbling when people trust you at that level, because it's one thing to trust you on the business front. It's a whole nother thing to trust you on the family, on the life front. So, all right, gentlemen. Well, thank you for the time. Let's get on to the do life.
Let's do it.
All right.